Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video. Today we're going to be doing the top 10 costumes for Bart Simpson. Now, okay, I had like 2 slots to fill, so I asked people on the Discord, and then they gave me too many. Mainly Spring King. It was just too many things to pick from. I didn't want to change my initial list, I just wanted stuff to add. So I ended up I had most of the suggestions at first, and then a bunch came through that I was like, oh my god, no, these are perfect. So I've just gone. I didn't want to completely change my list, so I've only filled 2 slots with the 2 costumes that I kind of like the most. I personally like the most, but there was a few that haven't made it to this list. There's a classy Bart, the crazy Bart one. They didn't make it on the list, but they're not. I'm not as familiar with them, so maybe that's just me. But I kind of went with the ones that I personally want. So, yeah, this is just my opinion. So if there's other costumes that you want in the game, please do leave them down in the description. So let's go through the list. Number 10 is Juvie Bart. So this is one I actually really kind of was disappointed they never added, because I think they could do some really interesting animations with Bart and Gina. So they could add this costume into the game. And, yeah, there could be some cool animations with him and Gina. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that, it's significant enough that they could do that. And I actually, think that they could do, a Crooks event. And they could maybe add costumes for Homer and Bart, and obviously they could add the cop Marge, the police officer Marge, but they could actually add this costume for Bart if they did something like that, and maybe a one for Homer too. Not that I really badly want a Homer one at all, but yeah, obviously cool animations. There's a cool way they could implement it in an event, so that's why I want Juvie Bart. Moving on, number 9 is Karate Kid. So, Karate Kid. I did that completely subconsciously. I meant to put Karate Bart. Karate Bart. Yeah, and maybe it's just because of the Butterfinger ads, but I generally would like a Karate Bart. I think they could really work. I think they could do some cool animations with it, and yeah, I think it'd be a nice thing to throw in there. I know it's not there obviously there was that one episode where Bart was sort of joined the karate school, but it's not a big thing in the show, or a really iconic moment. It's just a preference thing. I think they could do a really cool little sort of thing with Bart. Obviously, it wouldn't be this exact costume. It would be just the robe from him in the episode, but this one just looks cooler. But actually, to be fair, if they could, I know this is from the Karate Kid meme thing, this particular design, but there was the episode, I think season 3, where Bart was at the karate course, the one that Kira runs. So I don't know, I would like it, and I think they could incorporate the animations from the Thai restaurant thing that Bart worked at, where he did the little door flyer things that he puts on the peg. I think they can incorporate the animations from that episode into this costume, and I think it could be really special. But I can understand if people aren't too crazy about this one. It's more of a preference thing for me. Number 8 is Baseball Bart. Yeah, another sport costumes. I think you can't go wrong with sport costumes. This one could be cool, and it's actually kind of universal. They could go with any sort of particular design. I just picked this because it was one of the top images, but there's been a few episodes where Bart's been, baseball. They could do that one episode where, Bart doesn't catch the ball and he's hated. I think they could, incorporate animations from that, or they could incorporate it from other episodes. I think this one's quite versatile. They could do a lot of different things with it. So, yeah, number 8, Baseball Bart. Just not one I'm particularly crazy about. This was one of the ones I had added on the list that I didn't have already. Number 7, this is the other one that I added to the list, but I moved them around. I put these. I was like, okay, I'll put Juvie Bart at number 10, Karate Bart at number 9. Number 7 is another suggestion was Nerd Bart, one I didn't have on the list already anyway. Yeah, this is a really goofy, funny costume. I've actually got an event I say in the works. It's pretty much completed. I've got an event idea that actually incorporates this costume, so I don't even know why I didn't think about this costume. But yeah, this would definitely be a really funny, cool, funny little costume to have. He's got the big shoes, the glasses, and the hair. Yeah, it's hilariously visual, and they could definitely use some cool animations with it too. Number 6 is Bart the Healer. Now, I actually was a little annoyed we didn't get this as a costume when we got Brother Faith, because I always thought this would be a really, really cool costume for Bart. So obviously in the Brother Faith episode, we see that Bart kind of, he gets the bucket off Homer's head, and then he kind of pretends that he's like, wait, is it him? I don't even remember the exact plot point, but he kind of becomes like this phony, like, religious healer sort of thing, and I think there's plenty of potential for different animations and stuff there, so yeah, Bart the Healer is number 6. I think it could be really cool. Number 5 is Beautiful Boy. Yeah, I mean, they need to complete the duo. Obviously, we have Gorgeous Grandpa, and in the Gorgeous Grandpa episode, Bart was like the sidekick, and yeah, they really need to complete that duo. I was a bit weird that they didn't add this as a costume, and they did add the Honest Abe costume for Grandpa. I think a much better thing to add would have been Beautiful Boy instead of Honest Abe. Spring Kings also suggested Laddie Liberty, which is like the persona that Bart like briefly takes on as Beautiful Boy. But just like with Honest Abe, I think Laddie Liberty should be added, but in the form of an animation for this costume. So I think just one of the animations for this costume is, be Laddie Liberty, where he becomes Laddie Liberty. I don't want it as a separate costume because I won't like that. I think just having it as an animation for this costume is fine. That's one of the main reasons why I wasn't a massive fan of the Honest Abe costume, just because it really should have just been an animation for the Gorgeous Grandpa costume. So yeah, that's number 5, Beautiful Boy. Number 4 is Ballet Bart. So yeah, I really like that ballet episode a lot, and obviously I've got an event idea which is currently, it didn't get voted, but it's there to be voted, and you can probably guess that this costume will be added to that event. And I just think that, yeah, Ballet Bart would be a really, really awesome costume to have in the game. It's kind of self-explanatory, really. It'd just be a really awesome costume. I really like the episode, and they can do some interesting things with the animations, and so for me, this is high on my list. Number 4, Ballet Bart. Number 3 is Superfly. Okay, look, I know it appears for like a brief segment, but come on, this just looks so funny. And I think that whole segment was kind of like just hilarious. And I just think visually it just looks awesome. Now, obviously there's different things they could do for this. So there's Fly Bart, as in like the actual like fly head on Bart's body. I think that should be added, but in the form of a character, because the reason why I don't think it should be a costume is because the fly's mind is attached to Bart's body, so it makes sense that should be a character and not a costume. Whereas this was just Bart's dream sequence where he pretended, he was a big fly, a superfly basically. And it was a dream sequence, so yeah, it's kind of cheating, because it's like, well, but they've done that before. I think is Cyborg Bart. I think that's a dream sequence, isn't it? Or maybe I'm misremembering. But yeah, I just think it'd be a really cool thing. And actually, as one of the animations for this, they should have like an animation which is like basically realize what becoming a fly really means, and like Bart is just the tiny little fly where he becomes in the actual episode. I always kind of wanted that as a costume too, like Bart is the tiny little fly. But on second thought, I think add that as an animation for this costume, because then you don't have Bart, being like minuscule, like a tiny pixel. Because I think like that would be too hard to do, because it would drastically reduce Bart's size to like a pixel if he was like a tiny little fly. So I think just add that as an animation for this. That would be really cool. So yeah, that's number 3, Superfly or Bartfly. You can call it whatever you want. I didn't want to call it Fly Bart or Bartfly just because the actual character would probably be called that. So yeah, Superfly is what I went with. I think that would be I just generally think this would be an awesome ass costume for me anyway. Number 2 is Sunday Best Bart. Look, I had it for Homer. I'm going to have it for Bart. I generally think the Sunday Bests should be added as costumes. I just think there's plenty they can do with them. And like there's plenty of animations and stuff and quest lines and stuff they can do with them. They might not actually look great visually, but they're like big things that the Simpsons, often are seen in. It's the only other outfit they wear. So, I don't know. Part of me really wants the Sunday Best in the game, and I want all the family members to have their Sunday Best, and Bart included. Bart especially, actually, because Bart I think could have some really cool animations. I'm just trying to think back to like all the episodes, but like there's the Bart Sells a Soul episode. There's plenty of cool like dream seekers and stuff they could do to use this costume. There's the one with Jessica Lovejoy. I'm sure there's some other like church appearances with Bart and some antics he was doing, and maybe they could find a way to incorporate them. So yeah, that's for me. Anyway, I just really want the Sunday Best costumes in the game. So number 2 is Sunday Best Bart. Look, I know it's not like visually a very interesting costume, but it's more just because they appear in this outfit quite a lot. So that's why I want it. And then number 1, can we have that drum roll? Cupcake Kid. Of course it would be. So obviously this was on my... Was this my number 1? I think this was my number 1 for my top 10 costumes. No, the Sunday Best was my number 1 originally. Number 2, this was number 2, I think, or number 3. Yeah, it's a costume I've wanted in the game for ages. Similar to Beautiful Boy, it's like the duo. So at the end of the Pie Homer episode, obviously we see that Bart and Homer sort of have like a team up, and we see Cupcake Kid, and then they never added this as a costume. The main reason why, I think, is they focused more on... Obviously, at first, they focused more on Bartman and that costume. And then, later on, in the second superheroes, they added the Stretch Dude and Clobber Girl, obviously. So, I think the only way that they can really add this is by adding an event that has... like another superhero event, basically. And incorporate it somehow... with that. But, I don't know. I think it's a really cool costume. I would really like this in the game, personally. So, yeah, it's just my number 1. It's a costume I've wanted for a long, long time. So, it had to be there. So, that is my list. I know, I haven't included everyone's, but 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, just making sure I've actually got them. I always get worried that I miss a number. But, yeah, that's it for all the costumes I want. So, I hope you enjoyed. Tell me your thoughts. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.